Hello and welcome back to Unpopular People. We believe that listening and learning from each other is key for personal development and success. Today in our interview, Kevin Liew.
How much weight can I lift and how big can I get? At that stage, I actually started training more like a gymnast and like slimming down, becoming lower body fat so that your strength to weight ratio is much higher. And did that for about 3.5 years. And then I got quite good at it, like very proficient at it. Made a lot of new friends. This was during the pandemic as well. So I was training at the outdoor parks, which is, that's where I met you. And that's where you met like all the other guys that you know.
He was born in Canberra but grew up in Brisbane. You will find out more about this in this interview. He's also a graphic designer during the day, but mainly he's a personal trainer and a calisthenics instructor. If you want to find out more about Unpopular People, please visit our website www.unpopularpeople.com. If you want to find out more about Kevin, you can do this through our community, but he will also give you more information on how to find him during this interview. Please be advised that this is the first time we're using a new setup of microphones and the audio quality is a bit different. It will improve in the future. Thank you for your understanding. All right, and now enjoy the show with Kevin Liew. Hi, Kevin.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, Ben.
Nice. Thanks for coming down here today to the Gold Coast. I was very curious to find out a bit more about you. We had an encounter before. You probably say something about this during our show.
Yes.
But first, let's get started and let our listeners know a bit more about you. So where were you born and how did you grow up? Maybe you could tell us a little bit about your childhood.
Sure. So I was born in Canberra in Australia. My parents migrated from Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, and had me and my younger brother. He's 2 years younger than me. We moved to Brisbane in year 9, so when I was about 14, 15 years old. Mainly because I suffered from eczema on my skin, so it's quite dry in Canberra. So moving up to Brisbane or Queensland, it's more tropic, more humid state. So my skin improved significantly then. It's mostly on the elbows and things like that. And I used to have it like on my face and fingers, so that affected my confidence, but moving here, that improved a lot. And I guess the biggest thing moving here was because I used to go to school in like a all boys private school. And I never really got to mingle with other cultures, other people, even females in general, because one, all boys school, and two, that school was mostly like Anglo-Saxons as well. There wasn't in Canberra at the time, there wasn't a lot of diversity. So yeah, it was all very eye-opening, but positive experience. I'm glad we did it.
And what did your parents do for work?
So my dad is a wedding photographer, and mum helped out. She was more like a bookkeeper or accountant. She helped out in the business. My dad had his own business. Did that for 15, between 15 and 20 years he did that. Yeah. So even before he migrated, he was in photography, more like commercial.
And we heard in the intro already that you are a graphic designer during the day. So does this come maybe from your dad doing photography?
I think so. Yeah, there must have been like a creative sort of blood in me or something, because I'd also enjoyed doing a bit of photography, videography, even as a kid, playing around, playing video games, and just love videoing and editing those videos into like montages. Mm-hmm. And now in fitness, I do sort of the same thing. I like to make little clips or reels or montages of my workout, as you can probably see on my Instagram. So I've taken that creative spark and moved it on into what I do now, even with the pole dancing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, there's a lot we have to talk about.
A lot to unpack there.
So start from the beginning. You said your skin problems gave you a bit of a lack of confidence in the past. And so how did you overcome this now? Or have you overcome it now?
Yeah, I'd say so. It's more manageable now. So just moisturize every day. And obviously just living in the more humid climate and different work environments as well. And fitness has all improved those things. That was basically how I managed it. It was as simple as that, really. There wasn't any special magic cure or magic button. It was just moisturize, just have a healthy lifestyle, and I guess in my case also live in a better state. Yeah. Because sometimes if I go back to Canberra or Sydney or Melbourne, sometimes it Sometimes it can flare up, but it hasn't since. It was more of my childhood thing. I think as I became an adult, I think I just grew out of it as well.
And where did you get the information from of what to do? Like, did you talk to a GP, or did you find it out yourself by learning by doing? Did you try certain diets and it worked better than others, or how did you find
it was mostly trial and error, and then later on in life, like maybe when I was early 20s, I did see a GP about it and dermatologist. So they give you like steroid creams and things when it really flares up, so it makes it easier to manage. Every now and then, sometimes you get it on the fingers because with calisthenics, you're always putting like chalk in, what do you call it? The alcohol, you know how we sanitize our hands all the time now? Mm-hmm. Sometimes that dries out the skin and it can flare up a little bit. So then you just manage it again. But overall, it's fine.
Okay, cool. And you said you have any siblings?
Yeah, I got one younger brother. His name's Jason. Yeah, he's not so much into, he does a little bit of fitness, but not as heavy as me. And yeah, we just live together over in Brisbane.
Okay, and what is he doing?
He is in I think he works for RACQ, so he's in insurance. Yeah, in that line.
Okay, cool.
And claims.
And do you know where your ancestors are from? Are you originally from Australia, or were you?
I have no idea. I wish I could tell you. I honestly have no idea. All my main family are in Malaysia. I've got some in Melbourne and some in Canberra still, some cousins, but the majority of my dad's side is still in Malaysia, and pretty much all of my mum's side is in Malaysia and KL. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so past that, like grandparents and things, I'm not sure. I wasn't that close to my grandparents, unfortunately, just given the distance.
And do you know, like, when your parents came over to Australia, or when this all happened?
I remember when I was quite young, the grandparents are still alive, but I remember, you know, one by one they sort of passed, and I remember going back for one of my grandmother's funerals. So long ago. Yeah. But
so you went through school. Did you start any apprenticeship or anything besides fitness, or did you go straight into the fitness industry?
I actually did accounting, and then I also did fitness. So I did accounting first, and then graphic design. Did that for a few years. It was okay. It wasn't really. I didn't feel like it was my passion. It's just something I sort of fell into. And then later on, when I discovered fitness, like I actually did fitness quite early on, since I was like 16, 17. I did like weightlifting in the gym, as most guys do. Sort of kind of like the skinny, scrawny, sort of small Asian, even when I was growing up. And I always wanted to be, you know, like when you're like a teenager, you kind of like lack that confidence. And yeah, fitness was one of those outlets that sort of helped me grow. So that whole stepping, that was like a 6-year journey, I think. And then I picked up calisthenics when I was like 27, back in March 2018, and I started the calisthenics journey. Mm-hmm. And that's when my mindset shifted from like how much weight can I lift and how big can I get. At that stage, I actually started training more like a gymnast and like slimming down, becoming lower body fat, so that your strength to weight ratio is much higher. Mm-hmm. And did that for about 3.5 years, and then I got quite good at it, like very proficient at it. Made a lot of new friends this was during the pandemic as well. Mm-hmm. So I was training at the outdoor parks, which is, you know, that's where I met you, and that's where you met like all the other guys that you know. Yeah, and that's where I sort of picked up that I actually love teaching calisthenics. So that's what I was helping out, just giving advice to friends and tips and what to do, you know, to develop the skills and strength to hit like the front lever or the planche or the muscle up or whatever skill it was, or handstands. And then I was like, maybe this is the path I want to take. And yeah, that's where I found the job at Hangar 66 as a calisthenics instructor, which is mainly a pole studio. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So step by step, when you said you got more and more into calisthenics, I remember the first times when I came to Australia, and here it's a bit more popular than in other places in the world, that you have like those calisthenic parks.
Yeah.
Where you have like those big places where people train, and you usually see like someone doing handstands and handstand push-ups without like any walls or anything, and muscle ups and all those things, and you feel a bit how would I describe it? Like when you don't really belong into like those sort group of people that can do those things.
Yeah.
It took me a while to go into there and just join and try my own things. So what helped you to start doing those exercises? Or when you said like you had a bit of a confident problem in the beginning, and how did you start going there and overcome this lack of confidence to just say like, oh, I join you guys, can I join you guys?
For me, because I actually like training by myself most of the time. So even when in the gym, I only really had like one gym partner for many years, and he moved on, and I just trained by myself or picked up, invite some friends. But generally, I trained by myself. So, but one day I saw a guy at the gym doing like a muscle up, and that was the day it clicked. I was like, I want to try to do that. And then I went on YouTube. So cool. Yeah, it looks so cool. And I was like, what the heck? And then I tried it and I couldn't do it. So I was like, I have to try and figure out how to do this. So I jumped on YouTube and, watched a lot of videos. Chris Herrier from Calisthenics was probably one of my main inspirations at the start. And then from there, from the muscle up, it was like the front lever, the back lever. Those were the first three things that I really wanted. And the human flag. Those are the first four skills I worked toward, on top of like handstand push-ups as well. I'd say those five. I didn't really discover how to do the planche till a bit later. The planche, iron cross, also there's a few other skills.
Maybe you have to elaborate a little bit for our listeners that are not familiar with those words. So the planche, you said?
So the planche is the one where it looks like you're doing a push-up with your arms straight and your legs aren't touching the floor. Mm-hmm. So it looks like you're hovering, effectively, like you're doing a plank without your feet touching the floor. It's a very, very difficult skill. Probably one of the hardest.
I think human flag, our listeners can figure out what this is, but maybe you can elaborate.
So the human flag, I feel like it's self-evident. You hold a pole or a ladder, and your whole body is straight and sideways, and your arms are like in like a Y shape. I guess you make like a Y shape with your body. Yeah, so that's another very impressive skill. You need a lot of pulling strength and a lot of pushing strength in your shoulders and back. Yeah.
So it's interesting that you say it builds up confidence, and I encourage this with my clients as well. Also in the mental health industry, it's many things have like to do with confidence and how to build confidence. And I actually use exercise in treatment options for my clients. To build up their confidence as well.
Oh, good.
And so how did you experience it? Like what was the change? Was it a change in your body, or was it a change in your mind that shifted your confidence?
I'd say it's a shift in the mind first. The body obviously improves as well, but I think the mindset that you gain is the biggest benefit. Yeah, that confidence. It all comes from internal. And the body that you get out of it when you do it right is sort of the byproduct of the, validation that it's working. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because at the end of the day, like if your goal is to, I guess, have a relationship, the body or how you look can attract people, but people will only stay if your mindset is healthy and good, and you've got a good character. Otherwise, people eventually they'll just leave. So fitness has developed this passion, and as you already know, it's a community around it that you get to meet like-minded people. Yeah, you're all working toward, I guess, the same goal, and that's what I liked about calisthenics. And then I found that in pole dancing as well. Everyone is very supportive. Yeah, they're all a bit more social, because I found in the gym initially they just have the headphones in and they're doing their own thing. I didn't make that many friends in the gym, nowhere near as many as I made from doing calisthenics and even pole as well.
That's true. Yeah, I experience exactly the same thing, because you can learn from others, and when you go to those places, you can actually like see something what is possible with the human body, and it's something you can learn. So you talked about you mentioned your pole dance studio. Mm-hmm. So maybe you can explain a bit more about this. What are you doing there? What's the pole dance studio all about?
Sure. So Hangar 66, it's in South Brisbane, in Brisbane, and that studio it's one of the rare studios I've found that actually offers calisthenics as well as the yoga, Pilates, and like the pole dancing. Whereas most pole studios only offer the pole dancing and sometimes a little bit of conditioning. So that gave me the opportunity to work there because obviously as a calisthenics instructor, that's what I do. And then it opened the doors for me to try pole dancing because I never would have tried pole dancing otherwise. I just didn't even know that this existed. I didn't know there was a fitness side to the pole dancing. Now I do, and my mind has been opened again. And I've been doing that for 5 months, as you're listening this in November. And I've loved it. Yeah, it's been another avenue where my mind has grown again and just newfound confidence. I mean, taking your pants off in a class full of women is daunting, to say the least. Like in calisthenics, I think most of us are pretty comfortable just taking our shirt off. You know, living in the Gold Coast, you've seen what we do. But yeah, stripping down your underwear at the start, yeah, it was interesting. So but you get over it pretty quick. It goes away pretty quick, that fear. Like everyone's super supportive and yeah, no one's laughing at you or anything. It's just, yeah, it's all good fun.
Is it actually pole dancing, which includes stripping as well? So you like this is what you learn when you say like
there are classes like that, but I'm focusing more on the fitness side. So the tricks, the static and spin tricks that you do, and choreo as well, which is like dancing, which obviously was inspired originally from stripping. So there are moves from that. And obviously it can be sexy, but you can make it depends on the song. You can make it meaningful. You can do whatever you like with it. That's the beauty about dance in general. It's up to you how do you want to interpret it. Yeah, but for me at the moment, I'm focusing more on the tricks and the flips and that sort of style.
And if there's someone out there that's think like, oh, that sounds very cool, but how do I get started? Like, what can I do to get started with calisthenics, or okay, I want to go straight into pole dancing.
Sure.
And I'm not very fit. Like, what can I do to get started with?
So I guess with calisthenics, the easiest way would be just start with the basics. So push-ups, pull-ups. See if you can actually master. At the end of the day, calisthenics is about mastering your body weight in different positions, different angles, right? So the push-up and the pull-up are like the staples. You want to get that down, and you can just do that at home, or find a local park. Find a local park with a pull-up bar and just work on that. Get some resistance bands to help you to make it easier. You could start probably just go to any local park that you found, and I'm sure there's someone there that's willing to help. That's someone like me, or I guess communities like what you offer, or YouTube channels have a lot of.
We're taking a quick break and be right back into the show. Kevin is right. In the future, the Unpopular People community will also offer services that are hard to find, like what Kevin does. If you want to find out more, please visit our website www.unpopularpeople.com and join the community by signing up for our newsletter. And now, back to the show.
I'm sure there's someone there that's willing to help, someone like me, or I guess communities like what you offer, or YouTube channels have a lot of free routines that you can try. Yeah, that's probably the easiest way to start, honestly. The most important thing I think is to just start. Don't try and find the perfect routine or the perfect program. It doesn't exist. You just have to start and be consistent. Because even for me, like I've tweaked my programming all the time. Like every 12 weeks, I'll tweak my programming a little bit. I don't follow the same thing all the time. It's just about understanding that your body will grow and adapt and change. And some days you'll have downs, some days you'll have ups, so you can do more things. So yeah, it's important not to be too rigid, but have the consistency.
Cool. Yeah. So how do you usually build up like your days? Like, do you start with your workout in the morning first thing, or like how do you usually build up your day?
My day? So my day looks like I wake up in the morning, I'll have breakfast, then I'll do like a quick 30-minute stretch, just some mobility, loosen up my limbs and muscles and things, and then just go about my day. And then toward the late afternoon, that's when I'll start like my strength training on a Monday. And that's when I'll go to like an outdoor park and do my workout. And then at night, do whatever, have dinner, wind down. Tuesday, what's my Tuesday look like? Tuesday, I go to the studio and train. So that's when I do mobility, calisthenics and pole as well. So that's like a 3-hour training day. Wednesday is when I teach, so I'll do my class, and then after my class I'll train again and do more strength training. Thursday I will do my own training at the park as well. So in the morning I'll wake up, do my stretching and mobility, and then in the afternoon that's when I'll do my, I'll train whatever muscle group I need to train. And Friday is when I just it's a little bit like a rest day. That's when I just do pole only. And on the weekends, that's when I'll train again, pole with one of my friends. That's how I'm training at the moment. But it took a while to get there because at the start, I was doing calisthenics for like 5 or 6 days a week. And there's no way I could have fit pole into that because that's just way too intense. My body couldn't take it. And that's actually how I injured myself in the shoulder twice.
Oh God, what did you do? What happened?
I was doing a pole trick when I was spinning around the pole, without my feet touching the floor. I was spinning around the pole, doing, what's it called? It's called a flyby, I think, from memory, where you have to climb up the pole, re-gripping with your hands. You keep spinning. I'll have to show you later.
Yeah. That's how we can put this in the show notes for our listeners.
Yeah, I can do that. I can show the video. I actually have the video of not me getting injured, but the trick of what it looked like.
Yeah.
What it looks like when you don't get injured. But it's funny though, the injury wasn't something that tore on the day. It was only something I felt the next day. And then I went to see my physio and he said, yeah, it's probably a minor tear to the subscapula, one of the tendons in the shoulder. So that was my main injury. That one took about 4 to 6 weeks to heal. And then another one that I'm battling with is in the lower trap. That one, I have no idea how I injured, but it's stopping me from doing pull-ups at the moment. So that one sucks. Yeah.
Everything that stops you from doing pull-ups is annoying.
Absolutely. Anything that stops you from doing pull-ups or muscle-ups, it definitely sucks.
So how do you overcome setbacks or anything like this, injuries, mentally, or physically, probably with rest or mobility workout and stuff. But mentally, I think it can be quite training sometimes.
Absolutely. Yeah. So with injuries, I actually broke my toe a few months ago, and I remember the first 2 or 3 days I was quite in a dark place. It was quite depressing. Not being able to move or do anything, and just rest I realized quite clearly it's not something I wanted to do. So I carefully just went back to the gym and just made sure, wear the moon boot and the shoe and make sure I didn't, injure the toe any further, but just very slowly just start to do push-ups or just things that are very controlled and slow, nothing crazy. And that was much better for my mental health. I think just getting out of the house. So I'm doing the same thing now with all these injuries. I'll still train and just work within the pain tolerance. That was with the advice of what my physio said too. He said, don't just rest and do nothing, actually get out and move. Because he said, you're such a high level or advanced athlete, you shouldn't be doing really, really low level sort of movements. And he said, you should be training back to probably 70% of what you're doing. So that was good advice, and it gave me the confidence to keep doing what I was doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is this also an advice you would give to others that have some sort of injury or anything?
It's case by case, but yes, that's the mindset I would definitely, because a lot of people say just rest or ice and effectively literally do nothing until the injury's gone, but I don't, this is just what my physio said. He said that's not the modern advice. The better thing is to keep moving. Yeah, and again, it's better for your mental health. You keep going with your routine. You don't fall into this slump where you just keep declining effectively, and then it's much harder to get out of it. Yeah, so even if it's not a weight workout, even if it's just walking or something to just move, something to get out of the house, it can be anything. What about yourself? So you give the clients the same advice with the mental health thing? Do you tell them to keep moving as well, or?
It really also depends on the case and how complex the case is.
Yeah, the injury.
So if it's a person who has, in general, I believe in recovery, 100% recovery. It is possible. Sometimes it takes a lifetime, unfortunately, but everyone can have recovery and everyone can go on their own individual recovery journey. So with mental health, it really depends if it's maybe different combined mental health disorders. So someone with ADHD has a depression at the same time, or schizophrenia and PTSD, or things combined, and it makes it complicated. So it's not that easy, and it's unfortunately it's very difficult for some people to handle their life. But in general, I think it is also a shift in society that needs to happen. It's happening already, so I'm very glad about this. But I think it has to happen a bit more in terms of people understanding that if you have like a mental health issue, that is not necessarily the end of the world. Also, it can happen to everyone, and also that you're not straight away a criminal if you have any sort of mental health issue, which is a bad misconception in our society. And but I see that things are changing, and I also experience when talking to people that they are getting better, and and it's just this is something I would always recommend someone to follow certain things that make them feel good. And if it doesn't feel good, they might have to change it. This is something you should do, and I think I explained it as similar in a way with just standing still doesn't help. It's resting means also doing something. Just like slight movements. If you have some injury in your toe, you should still maybe try to walk around, do like maybe easy movements on it and stuff just to get back
absolutely
to it. So
it's like understanding that there's a new baseline for what your body can do, and work within that new range. Obviously, it's not going to be the same level as where you were, but work within the new baseline that you're at.
Yeah. What about cardio? Do you put any implement any cardio into your training?
Nope. That's probably one thing I should. I probably should do more cardio. I did originally when I actually injured my knee like quite a few years ago. I was doing handstands on a very high P-bar, and I was fatigued and I wasn't very good at handstands at the time. So I came down and I landed badly and twisted my knee, tore the meniscus. That needed surgery. And that one took, I think, 2 months to not fully heal, but heal enough that I could start doing like squats and deadlifts again properly. But even before that, I was walking and power walking and slowly running to build up the strength and confidence that I can move my knee within that range. Yeah. So same thing as what you just said. Just slowly build yourself back up. Yeah. So
when you have clients that do like training, do they book you as a personal trainer for calisthenics, or do they also get you as for the pole dancing, or how does it?
I'm not a pole instructor, so I don't take on clients like that because I've only been on pole for 5 months. Yeah. But there's something in my mind next year. I'd like to become a pole instructor, not just yet. So we'll see. I'm still, like I said, I'm still a baby. But most people book me for PT work. Calisthenics is the main one. So that's what I like to teach, and that's the main thing I do. I did do a little bit of work in the gyms with clients, like just doing the squats and deadlifts and bench press. That's what I've been doing for more than 7 years. But my passion mostly lies in calisthenics. So that's the main type of client I prefer.
Okay, cool.
I prefer teaching that.
And how do you find your clients nowadays?
Yeah, they're good. I got one in particular that loves to DM me all the time and send me clips of how he's progressing. So that's what I love seeing. Yeah, that passion.
Not being in a gym environment, I mean, how do you actually get new clients?
Instagram, word of mouth, honestly. Yeah, just meeting people at the park, just say hi, and some people are looking. Sometimes they're looking for help, and I just offer them help. And if they're ready, they just reach out. They usually just find me on Instagram.
So when you say you're on Instagram, I always find it fascinating using Instagram as a tool, as a marketing tool.
Yeah.
Because I think there's so many things you have to involve. I think there's so many things you have to use. For example, at what time you post your things, and what time you how your posts look like, how much text is in there, how many hashtags you use,
things like that. I didn't worry about it too much. I'm aware of it, but yeah, I mean, there's a few tips. So obviously use the right relevant hashtags. I think the most recent advice is it's not so much about how many hashtags, it's about how relevant they are to your content. If you actually get flagged for using irrelevant hashtags, it'll reduce your reach of your post. Mm-hmm. At the moment, the biggest thing is using Reels to find new audiences. So that's something that I am actively trying to improve my skills on. So editing and making Reels and using the trending sounds and things like that.
Reels, is it like a short videos or something?
Yeah, so Reels is very similar to TikTok. Reels is Instagram's version of TikTok. Yeah, short videos. They're usually 15 seconds, 30 seconds, or 60 seconds. And yeah, you need to have something interesting in it to capture the audience's attention to keep watching that reel. Yeah.
And how do you know what's interesting for your audience?
Oh, just trial and error, to be honest. There's no special sauce, I think. Actually, that's a lie. There probably is some special sauce. I don't know. I haven't found it yet. I'll let you know when I do.
Nice. Yeah, no, I think it's fascinating world, like Instagram and TikTok. To be honest with you, I don't have a TikTok account. I've never been on TikTok.
Fair enough.
Some people have showed it to me, and but I for me personally,
you jump on it, man. That's where all the people are. A lot more people on TikTok than there is on Instagram.
Yeah, nice.
If you want to reach new audiences.
And how about you said you're doing graphic design during the day as well? Is this like how you got into this Instagram and TikTok world?
Yeah. So I never actually used social media before I did calisthenics. I had it very lightly, but I just wasn't active on it. I didn't care much for it. That was my mindset. I always thought social media was kind of like a negative. I always associated it with negative thoughts, like it was narcissism or showing off. But when I started fitness, I treated it like my own journey or my own diary, and just for me to follow, that I found that they were doing the same thing, so we could follow each other and see each other's journey. And that's literally how it started for me, and it's probably still like that. Like I still follow people that are doing the same thing, so we can inspire each other or ask each other questions. In a way, it's my own small community. People know, I know most of my audience, they know me. We've probably met at some stage in person, and that allows us to build the trust and just listen to each other, really. And yeah, that's all I can say, really. At that stage, that's where my Instagram is at.
Okay. And your graphic designs, like what do you do there? Like what is?
So if you look at my Instagram, right at the early stages, I was kind of making these carousels that were like linking with infographics. So I was using my graphic design skills there to create posts. That was kind of the overlap. But that was quite time consuming. It takes probably 3 to 4 hours just to make the carousel. And the return on investment wasn't there, but I didn't mind because I was learning. I was still practicing my skills, trying something new. And I've seen Instagram accounts that do that quite well. Like they don't have to show their face at all. But I found for me, I personally prefer to just put my face on the stories or on reels, or actually put myself out there rather than just have generic, clips or infographics and text. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it wasn't really my style. So I switched away from that and just did more organic, much quicker, literally just selfies sometimes, just posts, and captions. They're a lot easier and a lot quicker to edit as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And where did you gain your knowledge about graphic design? Did you do like a course at TAFE, or did you actually study this at university, or did you just do it yourself?
I self-taught a lot of it, and then I did an online course on Udemy. So that's where I started. And then I started working for Worldwide Printing. I think it was called Worldwide Online Printing in the early days, but now it's just worldwide.com.au. Mm-hmm. So yeah, just worked for them for many years. Yeah, so that's a print. They do commercial printing. Yeah, so most of my background in graphic design is whatever we make, whatever I design, it usually gets printed.
Okay, cool. That's very good. And also, so your knowledge about like the social media, so you also said just trial and error. You just try certain things, and if you get more clicks on them, you do it again, or you just follow the same.
I guess, yeah. So my most recent thing with one of my posts was with my pole partner, Marissa. We did a pole move where it's a special sort of shape, and that one was probably my highest engagement. So the most saves, the most shares. And I guess in my mind, that's something that people love in that community. So that's something we hope to try and do more of, to inspire people. And I guess when I look back on it, I realize why. It's because it's short and easy to watch, and it's just one bit of information. It's not overwhelming, and people can save it, and they'll be inclined, they're more inclined to try it themselves. Yeah, because I noticed some of my longest stuff, like with many, many tricks, which is in my mind more impressive, but people are less likely to save or interact with it because it's something that's quite out of their realm of ability to do. So even if you just do even just a handstand push-up, people are like, oh, I can probably do that in the calisthenics world. I might save it and try it myself.
So where do you want to go with this? So where do you want to see yourself in like 5 years from now on? I mean, with COVID, it's a bit hard to plan everything, but where do you think you're going with your training and with your work online and graphic design?
Good question. I think my vision would be to keep pursuing the fitness side of it, moving more into that industry, build up more clients, become a pole instructor as well. And who knows, maybe one day open my own studio as well, or partner up. I'm not sure with that realm yet. That's something I'm still early days in exploring, but I definitely want to possibly work in a gym as well, just as a fitness instructor, just still doing, the basics, the squats, the deadlifts and things like that, because that helps more of the general population. I think calisthenics is still quite niche. So to make it like sort of a full-time livable income, I think you need to sort of branch out a little bit more.
Yeah. Cool. And now my question again.
Yeah, go for it.
I was also wondering, you said before you saw Facebook and Instagram as this narcissistic, I don't know, way of life, or like narcissistic personality disorder or whatever.
Absolutely,
it could be for some people. So where do you like tell people to draw the line, or what would you say, like especially to young people nowadays? I think for them it's very hard to find or to make the difference between what is normal and what is a bit over the top.
What can be fake. Yeah, it's very easy to fake things nowadays. So in the past, I remember a lot of people could Photoshop photos, and they still do. But there's software now that you can actually alter videos and, make your legs longer or make your waist slimmer, things like that. So it's important to be aware of those things. And if you see it, I think it's important to call it out and probably stop following those sort of accounts so that it doesn't warp your perception. And most importantly, even for social media, for yourself, if you find that you're not enjoying it anymore, or you find that the time you're spending on it isn't making you happy, like take a break, come back to it later, or figure out exactly why. Like it could be certain accounts. If I find that I'm following certain accounts that don't provide any value to me, I'll stop following it because it's just doing my mental health a disservice. So I think that's probably the most important thing. It should be a positive experience, and it should be something that you can learn or grow from, or be educated, or be or entertainment, just having a laugh.
Yeah, cool. That's very good advice. So I'm always wondering, like, you gave so many good advices about, like, like confidence and how to use like social media wisely and all those things. And when you look at schools, so what do you think could the school system change, or what could the school system do to implement this, to like teach people, or especially the younger generation, how to use those things wisely, or how to be more confident? And
I'm not honestly, I'm probably not the best person to ask, to be quite frank, but I don't think schools should be responsible for that. I think it should be the peers that are on social media, the people that are influencing, the people that are actually there, the people that the kids look up to. Because the kids don't go to schools and look up necessarily to their teachers for social media advice. So even if you tried to implement it in schools, unless they bring in guest speakers that are like well-known influencers or content creators, they're not going to listen to whatever the teacher has to say, because what do they know at the end of the day? Because I can picture myself, if I was a kid back when I was like 14, 15, and my teacher who's like, maybe 40, 50, or a parent, and they're trying to educate me on the dangers of social media, I don't know if I'd listen. Yeah. I don't know, that's my take on it. I could be wrong.
That's good.
That's a good question though. I might ask my teacher friends what they think.
Yeah, and is there anything you think they should implement in school? If this is not the right thing for schools, but is there anything else they could implement what is probably missing nowadays? What people should learn on an early stage?
I guess finances is always a good one, like taxes in whatever country you might be living. Learning how to handle your taxes and finances is probably the biggest thing. Outside of that, just critical thinking. With all the misinformation there is in the world, being able to source your own side, source both sides of the story before making a judgment. Don't be so quick to judge just based on a headline, especially in Australia, I think. Yeah, a lot of the media outlets here are very biased, so it's, in my opinion, and it's important to try and get both sides and develop a healthy view on the world. And at the same time, probably don't listen too much to the news. It's usually pretty negative.
That's a very good
advice. Especially with COVID, right? Especially with COVID. We're all coming out of it now, so it's improving. Yeah,
that's a very good advice. I think everyone can take a little bit from this. And I think, why I asked this question is you always should start quite early working with people, you know, and especially in an environment we have nowadays, and we have a school system which is based on just general knowledge that someone else decides is right or wrong for you, you know, what you should and what you shouldn't learn. And I think that there's big potential to have a positive impact on the generations ahead of us, and the things that will come up in the future, and the problems we need to face in the future. So yeah, that's why I'm always interested what are good ideas, what you can change in the school system. So yeah,
I'll think about it and I'll see if I can come up with something else, because I haven't given that too much thought, to be honest.
That's all right.
I'm interested to hear what yours are, though. Sounds like you've given it quite a bit of thought.
Well, it's
what would you change in the school system?
I think in general there's I looked into, there's a school system which is called Montessori, which is a school based on kind of free learning. It's some people look at it and think like, oh, I don't know if this something like this works. But what it actually means is they're kids. They don't have exams. They don't have homework. They don't have any subjects they actually need to follow. It's more based on they can decide if they want to do it or if they don't want to do it. But out of experience now with those schools, the kids that are going to those schools, they learn quite fast that they're interested in a certain field, and they become expert in this field. Because what I think nowadays is a problem, that everyone learns a bit from everything. You know, you get a bit of English, you get a bit of math, you get a bit of this and that, and then they come out of school, and like what you said is absolutely right. Like financial wise, they have no idea. They don't know how to do their taxes. Sometimes it's like life skills. Like normal life skills, like cooking or doing their laundry or whatever. You know, they don't know how to do those things. And well, maybe in the future we have robots and other stuff, you know, that can do the work for us.
Sure.
Of course, it's. But on the other side, I think it's important also to like social interaction, like how to have manners to a certain extent. I don't want everyone to sit straight on a table and know how to use their cutlery, right? I think just manners to speak to everyone as they are. If to speak to everyone the same, like it doesn't matter if it's a girl working in a restaurant, you speak to her the same like you would speak to a policeman or to a very rich person.
Yeah.
You know, because I think that really helps, and mindfulness as well. You know, something like this. Some people need it just for their mental health. Also, mental health in general. There's nothing like this people really learn at school. And if you give kids the opportunity to go into a certain field and they have like high interest in this, and someone says like, oh, I'm really interested in, you know, buying and selling Bitcoins or something like this in the future, you know, and then you say like, well, if you want to know how to do this, like maybe you should look into math, because this is like the basics you need to actually learn something like trading or learn something like I don't know, running a business. And so if you really have kids that are eager to learn something in particular, you can make them understand. Or well, if you want to be like I don't know, if you want to be an artist, or if you want to be like an actor in a movie, you maybe have to know how to read the script. And how do you read the script? Well, you need English, so maybe you should like listen to English classes to actually learn this. That's my personal opinion on this approach. I know there's like many things that have to be changed for this, but yeah, that's my idea behind it.
Okay, it's interesting. Yeah, so like a pathway or stepping ways, foundation blocks to a larger goal. Yeah. Okay, that's cool. Thanks for sharing that.
We are here at the Unpopular People podcast. So I was wondering, what would you do differently, if you would do anything differently, if you were popular? If you would be worldwide known, like you had like millions of followers on your Instagram or TikTok or wherever, and you really have a big influence on people, would you change anything, or would you do the same thing what you're doing now?
I think my content would change. I think I would be less trying to maybe less content of inspiring, because once you've reached that level, I think people already know how good you are, so it's less about showing what you can do and more about how you can help people. So I think my content would shift toward that sort of ideas. Now that I said that out loud, I'm thinking maybe I should just do that now. It's a good question, actually, because when you have more influence, you have more audience, and you can tap into that power and ask what your audience ultimately, I guess, what they want. That's a good question, actually.
It's sometimes thought-provoking. Sometimes it helps people to think about what to do with their influence.
I guess when you have more influence like that and you're popular, there's definitely a certain level of power that comes with it, and I'd always want to be responsible with it and not use it for anything nefarious or bad. I think that just comes with my character. For me, I think it would be important to partner up with certain brands and offer something of value to your audience. That would be the most important thing for me.
Nice.
Because you've got that new power, you can really start to tap into bigger brands and actually get deals and use that to help your audience. I think that would be what I would do. That'd be the main thing.
Yeah.
In terms of my own personal content, I'll probably keep doing what I'm doing, whether it's inspiring or giving content or education. But yeah, once you have that power, you can definitely reach out to brands and do that sort of stuff, or even, I guess, make your own at some stage.
If I would give you 100,000 Australian dollars right now, what would you do with it? A very thought-provoking questions.
Thought-provoking. Geez, these are heavy. What would I do with it? I would probably invest it into the fitness business and grow it. I would keep investing into it. So for me, that would mean investing in myself. So I would do the pole classes and spend a portion of it educating myself more on the pole dancing side of it, and also the fitness and calisthenics side. I would keep investing in myself. Yeah.
Where do you get the information from? So where would you go to get more information about pole dancing?
So other pole instructors that have done it. Shel Hefner is probably my biggest idol. Dmitry Politov in Russia. I'd probably try and do one of his workshops if, travel allowed. That's probably what I would do with that money. I'd actually travel to Russia and do one of his workshops in person, not just online.
Yeah.
I'd probably spend more money with Shell doing private lessons as well. Yeah, just to better myself and learn as much as I can from the people I consider to be not just the best, but also the style that I enjoy. Yeah, because there are different instructors that are better at different styles in pole and even in Cali. And it's important to find out where you want to be and emulate your teaching in the same way that what they've done. Just follow their footsteps. There's no need to reinvent the wheel, I always believe.
And have you traveled a lot before COVID? I mean,
yeah, I would say a lot, not as much as what other people have told me. That's quite impressive. I've been to Malaysia, Thailand, Singapore, Japan, New Zealand, just to name a few. Those are the ones at the top of my head. And I'd like to travel Australia a bit more, actually. It's such a large, beautiful country. I feel like I've only traveled the East Coast. I haven't been to the other side. So I'd love to do that too. Yeah, if you gave me $100,000, I'd probably spend that and do a holiday.
It's nice. It's nice to see that you would invest it in yourself, because I think that's such an important thing. And people think about all the things they would buy and do or save or invest, and they usually forget about themselves. And I think with every investment, you should have at least 1/3 invested in yourself as well. Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go.
So good choice.
Thanks.
And just out of curiosity, so imagine like you would be your Australian passport would be denied and you get deported from Australia.
Yeah.
You had to leave Australia for good and had to live in another country. Which one would you choose?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Especially now with COVID, it's because things have changed so much. So it's very interesting to see what people would pick.
America is probably my next pick, not necessarily because of the culture, because I'm not a big fan of the guns and the stuff like that, but more just because the market is huge. Like Australia population here is like less than 30 million, and over there it's like 375 million or something. So it's absolutely massive. So it'd just be nice to play in a bigger city, I think, and see what that's like. I've never really lived in a big city. Like I've never lived in Melbourne or Sydney. I've never lived there, so I don't know what it's like. So yeah, if I got deported, it'd be interesting to live there. And I've got plenty of friends there now that I've made recently over COVID. So it'd be cool to see all of them as well.
In the US, you mean?
In the US. Yep, in all different states. But for lifestyle purposes, if I had to live somewhere else, I'd probably pick somewhere tropic, like Hawaii or Thailand or Bali, something near the beach, or even something like the Gold Coast. I actually loved living here.
Why did you move up to Brisbane then?
That's originally where I'm from. So I only came to the Gold Coast. I came to the Gold Coast for love, actually. That's where I met my ex last year. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but sadly we broke up.
Well, that's how life sometimes goes.
Yeah, that's life.
One door closes and many doors
open.
You never know what's going to happen in the future.
Yep.
And so if people want to find a bit more about you and your work and everything, where should I send them to?
You can find me on Instagram at the Kevin Liew. That's TheKevinLiew. And yeah, we can connect there, follow me there, or send me a DM, and I'll definitely get back to you.
Nice. And I also sent you an invitation for our community.
Yep.
We are on Discord. So this is mainly where we move at the moment. It's not very busy there, to be honest with you, but we try to get this a bit more busier in the future and have more people interacting and exchanging knowledge and make this community grow. So thank you very much also for becoming a part now of the Unpopular People community.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, nice. And we should wrap this up for today. It was really nice to have you on the show. I think that we had a lot of different topics covered today, and I think there's more to come, and we'll see where the future brings us to and what the future holds for us. So all the best to you and with your work, and it's very inspiring for me as well. I tell everyone right now, go to his Instagram profile or Facebook profile and check out the videos he has on there. It looks fake. When he flies around the pole, it looks like this unreal. But he does a really good job there, and
I appreciate it.
Yeah. So yeah, check this out. And yeah, so I say goodbye from our side. If there are any final words from your side, now is the time for it.
This is my first podcast actually, so this is a great experience, and thank you for having me. I'm definitely keen to do this again. Yeah, and I'm actually now looking at the microphone setup. I could definitely invest in buy one of these, so I wouldn't even have to come to the Gold Coast to do it. I could do it from home and do it over a call or something. I'm not sure, but no, thank you so much. This is a wonderful experience.
Thank you very much as well, and goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to this very inspiring interview with Kevin. If you want to find out more about Unpopular People, please visit our website www.unpopularpeople.com. You can find out more information about this episode, and also you can join our community by signing up for our newsletter. Thank you and goodbye.